we're going to be watching Dave Wiegand play against Samuel Anikoh.
Yeah. So Dave Wiegand, aka Dr. Bing, which we may call him periodically because it's just that good of a nickname. He is the defending World Cup champion, and he is here to defend his crown. And Samuel is his latest obstacle.
Who finished second in that event?
Yeah, good question. I think it was me, man.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I came last year at the 2022 World Cup in Naperville, Illinois, which means that I was relegated to the bench, and I'm just here watching other people do.
All right, so Wiegand starts with Morai, keeping an E, which looks like a pretty strong play. Obviously, Moira, without the second I, is also an option, not sticking that I next to the two doubles. But the I is generally not fertile. But yeah, I think it's a good play.
Very reasonable. I was just startled by looking over at Samuel's rack and discovering that he appears to have drawn both blanks.
Oh, what's he got? What's his other? What do he have?
I like how you're leaning forward. It's like, yes, if I change my angle, I will be able to see his rack better. Yeah. Well, life comes at you fast. You're playing the defending champion, and you have both blanks.
Rent L blank.
Yeah, good question. Actually, a lot of newer players really don't like having two blanks because it's like there's so many possibilities. It breaks your brain. You feel like you should bingo. So really...
Oh, look at this.
Oh, very cool. Okay. Flashy. First play on stream, 6-tile overlap.
The only problem is that cool. The blanks actually don't score much because he's covering both doubles with them. Actually, if he wants to kind of play words like that, there are actually quite a number of words that do a similar thing. So reblent above in the same position, or lantern below, or lawnist below as well, can score 72 points. So this actually scores notably slightly less because obviously the two blanks are on the double-letter squares. Other players you could play also are 4 timers through the O, so Ritornell probably the best one there, or Redolent, something like that.
Yeah, so, but you can't underestimate the style points. He's going to be able to say for the rest of his life, I played the defending champion, and I played a 6 overlap bingo on my way to, and then we'll leave that part blank because we don't know what's going to happen.
Let's not talk about that anymore.
Well, Dave, one thing about playing an overlap in response to the opening play is that it's harder for your opponent to bingo. So Dave's at least that R is blocked because Dave could have played unfeared. And now Dave's going to have to come up with a different plan that probably involves, I suspect, putting that F underneath AR and trying to score a few points. But let's see what he does.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough with what he has. He's lined up few, which looks pretty good actually underneath SI, so the second blank and the I of Morai. So Sif and FEU scores 19 points, setting up the D hook for feud. It looks pretty strong. He has to open the board up a little bit here to obviously he's a little bit behind, but also trying to get the next bingo down on the board.
Yeah, something that's really interesting here is his opponent, he doesn't know anything about Samuel's game. And I'm saying that because I've been playing a long time and I played many Nigerian players, and I've never heard of Samuel. And I actually cannot find evidence that he's played in any WESPA events previously. So there's an interesting factor of the unknown here where Dave really doesn't know anything about his opponent's strengths or aptitudes. So I would assume against an average player that Dave would want to keep things very open and just let his commanding word knowledge kind of drive him to victory. So something like FEU can accomplish that, but it could backfire. If his opponent knows a bunch of bingos or just happens to luck into some good bingo tiles, then opening the board could it's probably the right strategy longer term, but there's an interesting aspect of the unknown.
Yeah, that's very true. And both players, you can see, are on 7-3 record right now for 10 games. And yeah, Samuel is in 11th place, so he's actually one place behind Will Anderson after 10 games. That's no easy feat. So he's obviously doing something right, and he's doing a lot of things right. Here he is playing on table 1 against the defending champion. Looks like he's playing Vigo, which looks like a very strong play here. Probably maxes out his score on this turn.
Yeah, you're right, actually. He doesn't have no evidence. The evidence he has is that his opponent is in 11th place after 10 games, which is, no easy feat whatsoever. So, yeah, you gotta love these kinds of. Sometimes, like a lot of the same people end up on stream. It's always pretty cool when we get a new face. We get to find out what they're capable of.
Definitely. And this is kind of why we have, we've got a lot of different players on the stream. And, there's going to be a lot of, pretenders who are going to be up there all the time. But we want to see some new faces as well, just like Samuel. I guess we haven't really seen much of him either as well, especially in stream games. I don't know how many times he may have been streamed in the past. But I'm assuming that he's a bit more newer to being streamed as well. So I don't know if that will play a part in this game as well. Maybe slight inexperience potentially. But again, you're still playing the opponent. You're still playing the tiles. There's just a few cameras pointed at you. So you just got to play as you would normally, hopefully. But here with Dave, he has a lot of vowels. He's looking at Anikoh. He's kind of pointing at those tiles right now. I think Anikoh looks like the best play. And I think he would play underneath the E and the U of few, keeping ADE, which looks pretty strong, from my opinion. It's only 12 points, but better than nothing, just like with few. Just get some points. So he's played Anikoh there for 12 points.
Yeah, Samuel has some interesting options here because he could actually. Normally, when you draw the Q, you're thinking about how to offload it relatively quickly, but he could keep the Q here and just play Wagon through the A that just got open. And QUE is actually, there's no particularly good spots for the Q on the board, so I don't love holding on to it, but Wagon is a totally fine play, I think. I'll be interested to see if he has the... Oh yeah, look, he's already spotted it.
Wow. He's already spotted it. Yeah, so then another thing that I can really... the only thing I can really suggest otherwise is to play Quango through that A as well. That would get rid of the Q, which scores a bit more. But Wagon, again, is still very strong. I think it actually comes up second best again. So QUE, again, you can't really complain too much about that. Very good synergy.
Yeah, I think Quango should be distinctly better because all the power tiles, their value is kind of never in a vacuum. Like, the thing about QUE is it looks cool because there's just a lot of words with QUE. You could score a lot, but looking at the board, there's not a ton of places to put that Q. I guess I could play Queer for 28, so
yeah,
pretty reasonable choice.
Well, you just picked up the axe, but crucially,
exotique. Look at that.
That would be nice. It would be nice, but I don't think that's a word yet in this dictionary.
Wow. I'm a Samuel fan. He's got a lot of creativity here. Sorry, I keep cutting you off, but yeah.
That's okay. It's okay. But the N does give out demeaned, which actually wouldn't have done with Quango. So again, you're not to know, but that's ended up what the big difference here between the two moves.
But it is going to give Samuel the big Q play that he was kind of trying to set himself up for. So
yes.
Samuel's going to have quoted for 51 right here, which I'm sure he's going to find.
Yeah.
And
it's pretty much as much, as demeaned almost.
Staying afloat.
Yeah. And against someone like Dave Wiegand, just staying afloat is sometimes all you can hope for. But here he's doing very well so far. He can get quoted, and he will go ahead by about 56 points after that. Should still be in good position anyway. So it looks like he's Yep, there you go. He's found quoted. Looks like he's ready to play it. Also, he has decks as well with the last two tiles, so you can play on the other triple. He has
Yeah,
something good.
wasting no time.
Yeah, very confident play. This is kind of what we want to see. We want to see no fear here. And Samuel is racking up the points nicely early on in this game. Yeah, again, the best play.
You were saying about the X. Where do you think it's going to go?
I mean, I was just saying that he has DX on demeaned at the very least. Just gets to get 33 points. It's nothing groundbreaking, but at least he has something with the X for now.
Sure. So
the first
Dave,
yeah,
yeah. Sorry, Dave. This is a tough thing about being in two. I am in Austin, strangely, but Austin is not in me or my house. Austin is in New Orleans, so
that would be
a little
weird.
confusing there. It wouldn't be. You're always welcome in my place, but
of course.
So Dave needs to play some vowels off, and I think what he's probably going to do is look at that D and play something like Podia, which would keep EOR. In general, two vowels and one consonant is pretty decent. You probably want more consonants than vowels in a vacuum, but Podia leaving EOR has a pretty good chance of working out. He could play Puri, also Poori, which is some kind of an Indian flatbread. And he could play that for 23, or there's a few places that could go. I'd be pretty surprised if he doesn't just lay down Podia after thinking for a minute.
Yeah, I think Podia is the best play here. And again, the reason why we have Jesse here is he has pointed out both of the top players according to the engine. Statically, that is. But Podia does seem to be about 5 or 6 points better than Pori. So it looks like it's the somewhat standout play here. It looks like he's got all 4 of those tiles on the end of his rack there, ready to pounce. There it comes. Again, no surprise. Dave Wiegand finding the best play again. I think he's actually played all 5 of the moves actually perfectly so far, according to the engine. 5 top moves out of 5.
Not a big surprise when you're looking at
really.
the defending champion.
Exactly.
So, but I mean, Samuel still has the lead here, and he picked up a bunch of other potent scoring tiles in the C, the K, the Y. It's not a bingo lead, but he's slotted to score 40 plus here probably for the next couple turns. So he's not going away, folks.
Yeah. And the board's pretty blocked right now. So if you can't get a bingo, you can't. And then what you're going to want to do is actually have very good tiles like this, what he has, to actually score a decent 40, 50-point play. So he has plays like Yak through that A of Demean going down, YACK. That gets 46 points. Keeping, again, the X. He could also play Yaks as well underneath the M, E, and A of Demeaned. Parallel play, so making my EE and Axe. That gets 47 points. Both of those plays are kind of the standout plays in terms of number of points. There's nothing else that really scores quite as anywhere near as that. So it'll be interesting to see which one he decides to use, because both of them will open the triple. Yak kind of obviously makes it a lot easier to kind of just any 4-letter word with the K in it would be good to hit the triple. But Yaks also has the 1-point advantage over Yak, but also if your opponent has the E to make Axe, AXE, and then can hit the triple that way, it's also a problem. And not only that, with the AX there, you could also play something with that double word square, where in between the A of Demean and the O of Wagon, and play something in between the O and the E, and get a lot of points that way as well. So there's a lot of different options. Things to weigh up here. I think Yak is probably still best in my opinion, but he's got either a 46 play or 46 or 47 point play to decide between, which is never always a bad problem to have.
Peeking over at Dave's rack, is Gorgements good as a 10 through the gem?
Oh boy,
is that a thing? Oh, look
Um,
at that. Also, Samuel's picked an option we weren't discussing. I saw him line him up, but I don't know if he was thinking about it.
yeah, yeah.
Or I don't know if he saw the other options.
Interesting. So I don't know. Maybe I would class this as a slight misstep, but he's keeping the C and the K together. Maybe he's thinking he's got the K. He can probably play KAE and go something across one turn, and then get another big tour with the X, and another turn. He's probably playing the slightly longer game on the block board potentially. Um, so that could be what he's thinking with that. I mean, I probably wouldn't have played that. It does actually give, it does hemorrhage a few more points, a lost points basically there, but he's still up by almost a bingo actually at this stage. So he's probably feeling okay in terms of keeping some bigger tiles. But
Yeah.
Gorgeman's actually, to your point, no good.
Okay. And Dave's got a bingo here. Most of them were blocked by Samuel's play, but he has one bingo. There's a lot of bingos for that
Oh,
A, and Dave's going
yes,
to lay that one down. You can
yes,
see he's spotted it.
yeah.
Samuel might have placed a really high premium on not opening the triple word score. That could be why he decided to play YAE, because no letters go underneath the AE. That's like the kind of play I've seen from Nigerian players in the past, like being very careful around setting up hotspots. But I actually don't even know if Samuel plays in Nigeria, where his home Scrabbling nation is. It looks like he's holding Stone Rag, actually. Interesting.
Yes, Stonerack, yeah, is the only playable bingo. And again, once again, for a sixth move in a row, top play from Dave Wiegand, which puts him now 2 points behind Samuel. And the only problem with what Samuel did with YAE, actually, I don't even know what's happening. I think it's a hold. I don't know if he's holding or what, but um, yeah, with that now, he actually has picked up some quite bad tiles, so he can't really do too much here with the letters he has, because now he got rid of his E, which is obviously his best vowel, and he kept hold of the C and the K. But it looks like he's actually challenging Stone Rag, which is a bit surprising because, again, for those people that are maybe new to Scrabble, we kind of learn bingos, so 7 letter words or 8 letter words, like what has just been played, by probability order. So it basically is by how likely they are to turn up in the game. And the letters in Stone Rag are all letters that come up very often, because there's a lot of those in terms of the distribution of tiles. Those letters come up most. So it's kind of surprising that Stone Rag has been challenged. But there are, I think, 5 anagrams of Stone Rag. So he could be only remembering 4 of them, and that one might be escaping his memory. But once again, what we said earlier with what Jesse said, if you're not sure about it, you should just challenge it. It's only 5 points, and you never know, it might not be a word, and you actually just saved a 60-point play. So, but yeah, in this case, Stone Rag is good, and he will get an extra 5 points for it, which actually means Dave Wiegand is not 2 points behind. He's now 3 points ahead.
Yeah, given the point they are in the game, it's probably about a 2% change in win percentage for Samuel. So I think that's the letting a phony go could be like a 30% change in win likelihood. So yeah, if he
Yeah,
has any doubts, he should just challenge it. And I don't know what he's going to do here in response. It's kind of a tough. He's given away his E, so
yeah,
that some of his flexibility is really gone. He's got to be really careful with this play, because his rack could really plummet here. And
yeah,
the X
exactly.
isn't going anywhere because there are no hotspots for it either. So I don't know what he's going to do with this.
Yeah, so there's 2 different options here. I think actually one of them was said in the chat by Adam D, saying auction through the N of Stone Rag, and actually the
Hmm.
other option that was available is the one he's just played, Cork, which actually is the highest scoring play of 32 points, keeping IXI, and that kind of blocks up that kind of bottom part of the board a bit as well. So we're going to be interested to see what Dave is going to do next with this rack.
I think Cock is a nice play here. I think thematically, it seems like it fits with Samuel's game plan of just keeping things really tight. And I mean, it's not with the rack that Dave has drawn himself. It's not an easy road back. I mean, he can play banjo or something here, or jarp to the P perhaps. But actually, the board is it's gonna be really hard to open the board at all, and it's going to take something pretty unusual, like a play through the UN, or actually both the M's are gone as well. So Ono only takes an M in front, but with both the M's gone and both blanks gone, the top is never getting reopened without, maybe it'll take a play to the ER or something like that. So this is probably not the kind of encounter that Dave was like looking forward to, and he's really going to have to. This is going to push him to the brink, to a place where the computer simulations aren't necessarily that helpful, even because they kind of don't understand these closed board, open board dynamics all that well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And he looks like he's lining up kind of jar, maybe with jar, is what Jesse said earlier. But an interesting position that he could do, well, an interesting thing that he could do here is actually playing Benj in between the last E of demeaned, making Ob. And just from his point of view, there's actually only one A and one O unseen out of 35 tiles unseen. So he could play Benj, and if he picks out a bunch of vowels, he could just play JA straight after that, and he would get a good 60 points for those two turns. On this kind of board, it's actually very unlikely that you probably would even get 60 points in 2 turns with the how it's shaped right now. It's going to be a slugfest, I think, from here on in. We're going to have to brace ourselves for some low scoring plays, and players just trying to maximize their score with whatever tiles they can get, because I don't really feel like there's going to be a bingo. Probably not going to be another bingo in this game, unless someone gets kind of lucky the next maybe move or two. I don't see anything happening, so it's just going to come down to whoever can outrun who at this stage, potentially.
Yeah, this is going to be a defense lover's delight. I mean, the whole day has been like that a little bit, but this is awesome. We're going into the dark forest here, where we're just, I mean, us, Austin and I, your co-commentators, are as much in the dark as anyone else. Our analytics tools are of limited use, and we are just going to be kind of grasping around in the dark ourselves. And Dave plays Boar here, holding on to the J, which I like quite a lot, because the J is a weapon. It can't do that much immediately, but he can potentially set up a big J play for himself down the road. So he's kind of keeping that as almost as like an arrow in his quiver. And Samuel is clearly no stranger to closed boards, because he didn't even think about anything like Fixer or anything to open the top. He is keeping it closed, and he threw Rifflip down right away. And I like how fast he played, because Dave, in my experience, like when he gets to a closed board, he'll think about it very deeply and can be susceptible to time pressure. So I don't know if Samuel knows that, but one thing about Rifflip I'm a little bit not as happy with is that he didn't think about, or I didn't see him think about the hook that Dave set up. So BAE takes an L in the back, and it might have been good to try to keep the L for some kind of a, I don't think there was anything there immediately, but for some kind of a future play. But Rifflip is pretty strong.
Yeah, it's actually second best in terms of the computer evaluation. Actually, Fixer is number one. Again, he's not to know, but he would have given away jail through that eye of Fixer, and actually could have set Dave on the road to potentially getting another bingo with getting rid of those tiles. But Rifflip actually isn't bad. I mean, again, you're kind of playing the player now. We're not playing, the engine is not playing the engine. It's Samuel playing against Dave Wiegand here. You want to try and keep this kind of close. You want to try and make it a slugfest. And Samuel's playing pretty quickly, so maybe you can get Dave under a bit of time pressure, get him to think about short words and what to do, and kind of restrict his options and just take him down the road of that and see if you can take him out that way.
God! I think Samuel has a crushing play. Sorry, I have to point it out. I don't know if anyone saw it in chat, but Samuel drew another L. Samuel has links for 52, making bail. If he can find that, which, given what he's shown me so far, he's certainly capable of. I don't know if he's seen that hook yet, though. I haven't seen him acknowledge that yet. But if he gets links down for 50, Dave's in our defending champion, Dave Wiegand, is actually in a lot of trouble if that goes down.
Ooh.
Man, it is heating up.
Yeah, I mean, Dave is not going to go down in that bottom right corner. He's not going to go there. He's going to look to try and cash in that J now, probably, or potentially open up the board with like Jailer or something through that ER of Vigo and Rentals.
Or if he doesn't, Dave could also just put a J down. He could play Jar for 9 points, one spot over from Vigo, and keep that AILNRS. I mean, that's not like a traditionally awesome leave, but if he has an A in his opponent. There's only one other A unseen, so if he plays for 9 points now, he has access to that bingo lane for the rest of the game. Like, Samuel is going to really struggle to block that. I think that might be worth investing in at this point. You know, it's kind of the closed board experience is all about these kind of maneuvering yourself to these big plays and setting up these opportunities for yourself that your opponent doesn't have access to. I think Jar might be worth it. I wonder if he'll try it.
That's a very interesting point you said there. So something like Jar is obviously possible. Samuel could block it with just playing the P on the end of it, playing Jar, and then that kind of disappears again. Something like that. But he has links set up on his rack, so Samuel has links there.
Oh, man.
That is going to be a huge hammer blow if Dave doesn't play that, but he's going to go for the points here. That is 27 points, so a reasonable play. I mean, he is 27 points behind, so now it is actually tie score, 259. And Samuel can play links. I mean, that is the only play, really, if you see it, that is the only play you should be playing in this case.
Oh, did he see it, or does he just have it on his rack because he saw the word? He just touched it.
He's turning the board with putting his finger there. I mean, he's either pointing at it, he did it on purpose, or he's just not sure, because he's got his head in his hands right now. He's probably racking his brain and thinking, I have seen bail or something similar to that at some point. But is this the right word? Was this the right thing that I have remembered? And it couldn't be closer right now. The scores are tied. Like, this could end up being a game-losing play. And now with JA on the board, he could play Jap and picks as well.
He's doing it.
A lot of points.
He's doing it.
He just needs to put the other three letters down, and he's in good shape, really good shape.
Oh, but my goodness. He's got to do it. If you have a chance to slay a national champion, I'd be thinking about picks. That's a pretty good alternative.
Picks. It's a very, very good backup play. If you're just not sure enough of bail, then picks is there for 36 points. You're not going to get 36 points on this board.
But Dave now knows he has the L too. Wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he couldn't pull the trigger on bail. But again, 36 points is still a lot.
Dodged a bullet. The champion dodged a serious bullet. I mean, it's still not easy from here, but wow.
Yeah. I mean, so Lynx was the best play, and it was about 18 points better than Pix. And Pix is actually the standout second best play. There's actually nothing else that comes close to Pix either. So if anything, he found the second next best play, and that wasn't available before JA really, because he gets a lot of points with jab. So again, he's not sure. He's playing it safe, but yeah, I mean, it is technically it goes down to a bit of a miss.
He's never going to live that one. Like, when he
never going to forget it.
Depending
now.
on what happens, if he pulls off the win anyway, he's never going to care. But oh boy, if he looks back on this one, he's gonna be wondering if he should have gone for it. But now Dave is. This is why I think Dave maybe should have invested in opening the board last turn, because he has a stellar rack and it does very little. And I just, and he's seen that Samuel has an L, so he almost has to play something, bailed and something like lint. But if he does that, he's down 13 points and he's not doing anything in particular. So if I were Dave, I have to. I don't like this graveyard spiral of a board that we're in. I would try to find some way to open things up. He's got to be thinking about that.
Yeah, I mean, the question really is now you're 36 points behind on a very block board where you cannot really score more than 25 points. So do you now switch gears? Is this the time to switch gears to trying to land a bingo? Or do we go with it anyway? Go with Lint and Bale and try and outrun him. I mean, we may be behind by about 10, 15 points anyway, and then he's on turn. Or, what do we do? Do we switch gears now, or do we just go for the points? Again, this is a very difficult decision because you're so close to a bingo. And I don't know anything that you want to do to open up the board. I mean, the only thing I can really kind of think about is something like Tarn, Tarn, opening up the S hook for Starn. Again, I don't particularly love it either because you have to use the S and and there's only 4 points. So that means you're kind of dead in the water now. You're 32 behind and it's his turn. You definitely have to get a bingo to win the game. So do you want to commit to that now? Or do you want to just take the points and wait for another opportunity? You just don't know what your opponent might be struggling. Like he actually is struggling with poor tiles or like very clunky tiles. You just don't know.
Right. If Dave just plays Lint right now, I don't. What does Samuel do? I actually don't know that he can play for more than 17 points or something.
Yeah,
but 17 might be enough. I mean, we're in some interesting territory. Yeah,
I mean, we don't need that many points. And he's actually 14 points ahead right now, which is actually quite a lot on this board. I would probably say, like, in a regular board, it's probably equal to maybe 40 or 50 points, potentially, or 30, 40 points maybe. It's probably like half a bingo, maybe at this stage. But Wiegand just drew another S and a Z, which could be crucial here. But NY comes down, so he does still manage to keep scoring.
Yeah, that might be enough. I mean, where's the Z going to go?
That's a good point. I'm not seeing anything good. He could play Hazer to open up the board at the top left, potentially. And
yeah, he kind of has to. But as soon as Hazer gets played, Samuel's almost certainly going to cover it with like some kind of a scoring play.
Yeah.
Or more like probably something across, play something like Whale or Wailed or
what. So maybe anything else.
Yeah, what exactly? Given the way he's been playing, he's going to play the most, whatever the most blocky option is. That's what's going down.
Yeah, and again, sometimes you just need to stifle your opponent in this kind of situation. Again, if you know you're coming up against a very strong opponent, you can probably almost admit to yourself that you're playing against a stronger opponent than yourself. You want to try and almost drag them through this and make it difficult for them. You don't want to just open the board to them and they'll just get 4 bingos in a row and romp home to victory easily. Sometimes you're just going to make it a slugfest. This is it, and he's doing a great job of it right now.
Yeah, he's
But
taking
look at
Dave
the fight.
to the dark forest. He's taking the champ to the dark
Yeah.
forest. It's pretty amazing.
But the Z does also play just above the E of Stone Rag as well. He can get 31 points from that.
Sure. Dave's also only down to 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah.
game left here. This is kind of what I called out before about Dave taking his time on these closed boards. Like he has to play another 4 or 5 moves in 3 minutes.
Yep, this is exactly it. This is what we said. Sometimes he might be thinking too hard about this. Samuel's sitting there with literally half his time left. He's 35 behind. He might play the Z spot right now, but he could play Hazer and open up the board. And those two are completely different options. You're opening a completely different kind of worms if you're playing Hazer, and he actually opts to play ZE here, as he goes underneath 3 minutes on his clock. He keeps a very, very strong rack, so he might be just waiting for the right opportunity to strike here.
Yeah, but Samuel's going to play something immediately. He'll play something like Where and EX or yeah. He has a nice play. There's a really nice play here. He's going to play Woe, Was, and Out.
Yeah, he could do that.
That's pretty good. Another thing he could do here. I don't know how many R's or N's are left, but he's actually not that far away from Rewound double through the UN.
Oh yes.
So he could try to play off the HLT and keep the letters for rewound or unwound. But yeah,
so
he's just going to do
yeah. There's only one R left, so
okay.
He's going to go for Woe. He's going to keep scoring again. He's going to keep scoring a good solid 20-odd points each time, and he's actually going to might get him to the end. Let's see.
I'm speechless.
There's still 8 tiles in the bag right now.
And Dave's got to be thinking about fishing here. No, he's just going to score points.
It. So, interestingly enough, also, from his point of view, there's only 5 vowels left and 10 consonants. So you don't want to be picking up the V and those kind of clunky tiles. There's a C unseen, there's a B unseen. From his point of view, he might just be waiting to see if Samuel kind of cracks and maybe opens up something because he has to get rid of the V or something like that. She does score a lot of points in the grand scheme of things.
But Samuel's got 11 minutes to figure out how to score here. So
yeah. This is only a 3-point game, so Dave is up to 335. So yeah, I'm just looking at the engine's moves. Literally every single one is opening up something. The only thing that's not opening up is actually playing TWAS. TWAS, putting the T on was to not open anything up. That's the only thing.
Samuel has to know that Dave has the strongest possible letters. You cannot. This is not. There could have been other times to open. This is not the time.
Exactly. So he might play something like DOH. So he in the next to Podia to get rid of, keep things blocked, 10 points. He could also play Jape, which is actually what he's going to do now. He's going to maximize his score for 15 points, and he's actually extending the game. Don't forget that. He's actually extending the game by playing fewer tiles. That means Dave has to play more moves in a shorter period of time.
Now, Jape is a great play. He also could play the V for he could play Vary. He might want to play that sooner rather than later. It does set up Ovary, but if he doesn't play the V soon, he might get stuck with it. He may never get to play it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he
has VAR also.
He has VAR, yes.
So he has 2 spots. If one of those gets blocked, I would almost immediately play the V in the other spot. Just, make sure that you don't get stuck with it. Are there O's left?
There are actually no O's left, so he doesn't have to worry about Ovary. And also, with that, he can't play. Dave can't open up with any 2-letter word play, with the V there, and anything ending with LA. So that kind of kills that option as well if he ever decides to do that. Wow, what is the play here? I mean, I think the engine is kind of just wanting to fish tiles here. He wants to play Rain, Rein, next to Demeaned. But again, there's nowhere to play a bingo. So when is he going to open? Is he going to open anything up? There's actually now only 5 tiles left in the bag. Oh, there you go. He plays Rain. Does play the highest equity play.
Is he going for something in particular? Like, does he have a dream play through the UN that he's trying to draw at this point?
I mean, I can't imagine anything will go there, though.
It's not promising. Yeah, he drops the V. That's exactly what he needed to do.
He's probably playing for some kind of 4-timer. That might change the game a little bit. Because a 4-timer will put him ahead.
But what could he possibly... He has 46 seconds. What can he possibly draw?
Boy. Oh boy, what is happening? Wow. And there's still 3 tiles in the bag.
Oh, he is going over. The penalty for going over, you don't lose immediately. You lose 10 points for every fraction of a minute you go over. So the second Dave's clock is to minus 0.0001, minus 10. And he's fishing.
He might be panicking now. He's panicking now. It's obvious. He doesn't know what to do. He might have left it too late. Oh, he's just played something.
Icer.
Okay, so Samuel has time to think about this. And there's still 2 letters left in the bag. He picked out the U.
That's not even that good of a rack, actually. Does he even have a bingo?
I don't think so.
Wow.
I actually would like to have seen Samuel take a bit more time, but I don't know if he wants to just put the pressure on now.
I think that's there's no bingos possible, really. There's just maybe something through the eye, but it would be really tough to fit. So I think that was a great move. And Dave's over. Minus 10.
Over, yeah. Wow. Okay, so I have the score at 396 to 349. So it's actually in real time, it's actually 339. He's actually 57 behind, including the 10-point penalty that he's got right now. And he doesn't have a bingo. And there's no tiles left in the bag.
I can't believe I watched this. Just what a man. Just nerves of steel. Like Samuel just had a game plan and just committed to it 100%. And he out-strategized Dave Wiegand here. Just point blank. Yeah. He knew exactly what he needed to do, and he executed on it. He dumped that V. He never opened anything.
Yeah, he did. He did exactly that. Again, what I said, you just want to try and make it a slugfest, and you have a great chance of doing that if you can get some good tiles. And that's exactly what's happened. You forced Dave under time pressure, and I guess he kind of panicked with Isa, and he gave away the game straight away. And now he's going to play Bled, and he's actually going to get even more points on spread here. Which actually is the best move. It's 34 points. And he went over by a point. Another minute there, I think. Couldn't press the clock in time. Wow. That is incredible.
Samuel Anikoh, give yourself a hand.
Yeah,
he's got to be hyped.
Wow. Samuel Anikoh, that's what we say in the UK. If anyone does something amazing, we just witnessed it. If there was ever a way, if anyone out there is having struggles to try and beat Dave Wiegand, he just gave you the blueprint as to how to do it. Obviously, you need some good tiles and you need some luck, but he just showed you how to do it, and he did it very convincingly. So, yeah, it is a big win for Samuel, and he goes up to 8-3. Wow, what a game. A very, very interesting and tactical game played right there. And
what a treat.
Yeah, that was amazing.